Huge episode coming up on Hold All Tickets. Adam and I are currently on probation from last week's performances, but as per usual, we have Self-Trumpeters. Our man Lamby is back from getting married. How bloody good. And we've got a couple of nice little pops from Ascot, Caulfield and Randwick. Hello, punters, and welcome to Hold All Tickets. Today is the 12th of the 12th, and as per usual, today's show is brought to you by BoomBet. Great fixed odds, more value, and more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. Now, Dirty Donnelly, still away, but Lamby's back. And show us that left hand there, Lamby. He's got world's smallest handcuff, that's right. Lamby just got married, so congratulations to Lamby.
Thank you.
He, despite last week's result, he gets a return back. Monsieur Brett, how are you?
God only knows how I got an invite back after last week, but thanks. It's good to be here.
You and I didn't completely tip the lights out either, so that's all right. Before we get into the show, let's have a bit of a reflection on last week. Last Group 1 of the year, and Kieran Maher took out the cake with Light Infantryman. Took him a while to get this horse going, but he's managed to work it out for connections. Any thoughts on that?
It was a good run. Clearly, we didn't go anywhere near it. Although you did.
I think I went socks. Neigh. Oh no, I went attrition.
Yep.
That was Schnitzel House. No, we had no luck in the Group 1 feature over in Adelaide. I can't imagine you were watching much of WA action over the weekend.
I watched a bit of racing early because it was quite a late ceremony, so there was a bit of a lead in where I was allowed to watch the races. But once things got underway, I put the phone away. I didn't catch too much of the Ascot action over in the west.
I did see a picture on social media, and I did think it was Lamby with his bride holding her dress out like this and the projector of the races onto it. I thought that's
saw that
Lamby's
as well.
wedding.
No. Cynthia said, there's one day where you can't watch the races. Today's the day.
And you said, Cynthia, settle down. Now, the Hong Kong International Race Day, who wasn't there? We'll touch on that later in the show. But Berkeley Square, how bloody good. Lamby's favourite horse getting the chockies at Ballarat on what looked like a brilliant day out in the bush. Love these country meetings, and long may they reign. However, as per usual, let's get into the Self-Trumpeters. Lamby, what have we got for this week?
Well, as I said, I didn't watch a whole lot of racing, but I did receive a few noms, which was very handy. So thank you to those that sent me a DM. Get off to, we'll start with Wayne Orman, the Wiz. A little quick single from the Wiz. New Zealand Trial Watcher tweeted, "Arrogant first up win for Irish Legacy at Ellerslie." The Wiz quote tweeted with, "Looked a moral, had plenty on those." So a bit of pre-race, post-race, I should say, from the Wiz. 2 votes, racing previews / 6th day racing. It's basically the same account. Young blokes having a crack at the punt. They had a big HKIR day on the punt, and they really did get around themselves. Plenty of bet slips. A lot of trumpeting of overs that they'd taken earlier that came off, and
They
couple
got
of
light infantrymen, didn't they?
They might have.
Yeah, I think they got a big collect on that.
Okay, big weekend for them. A couple of quick quotes. Romantic Warrior lands monster bets for our subscribers, and it's a HKIR fill-up. Sign up here. So they did get around themselves. Seriously fat day, though, so it's understandable. A bit of bugle blowing, but I still have to give them votes. 3 votes. Yep. Race caller Terry Bailey. I've gone back further than I normally do, but you missed this one last week, XP. I'm not sure if you were taking the trumpet hunt seriously enough that you missed this one, but this was Terry calling from the racing.com studio. He pulled out this little nugget.
He's going to win. The mount is running on well, but absolute moral. Looked a moral before the race, as tipped by me. And Boom Boom Ray wins pretty comfortably.
In case you missed that, so shush you. In case you missed that, that was looked a moral before the race, as tipped by me. So one of his morals yesterday is still running. So swings and roundabouts in this game.
As tipped by me yesterday.
As tipped by you,
As tipped by me. I was watching the pre-race with him and Nick Noonan, and he goes, I was like, seriously, this thing's an absolute moral. And I just went, oh, for goodness sake, Tez. And what happens? Still running.
5th, I think.
Yeah, 5th.
Field of 7, maybe. And 4 votes to round it out this week. Jackson Oldham. This would normally be a 3-voter, but this isn't his first indiscretion, not his first rodeo. So he gets 4 for this one. This was after Light Infantryman won the Northerly. Jackson posted a couple of bet slips, 150 the place at $3.50 and 200 the win at 11 with the caption, "Don't think I'm doing this right. I'm meant to take overs, aren't I, at 6-day racing." So it's a trumpet that's poorly disguised as taking unders. I mean, he took 11 and the horses started 12. A bit of false modesty from Jacko has him top of the pops this week. That is the Trumpeters for this week.
Well, thank you very much for that, Lammy. And before we get into our tips today, let's dissect and have a look at last week's results.
Do we have to? Do we really have to?
Yeah, well, these results don't come in good timing as our mid-year reviews come up very soon. Firstly, the Northerly. Adam, you had super smink. Let's just not.
Didn't
no
go near
good.
it. No.
Xavier, I had attrition. No good. Now, my bets at Ascot, my best was attrition. No good. Next best, race 7, number 4, in good order. No good. Best value, I had Sox Nation. Came third. So as far as our tips go, that's somewhat of a pass. But in saying that, didn't quite win. Adam at Ascot. Best bet, King's Honour.
No good.
Next best, Henchard.
Still running.
It's not a real deep dive on each horse, is it? It's just
No.
short
I
summary.
don't think you need to deep dive on some of these.
Yeah, best value, Rupert's Empire. Very good. Great
No
omen
good,
bet for
but
us.
started well, so I saw a little bit of light
Started
there.
well. And then we head to Ballarat. I had Prince Eric in race 5. I had him on top, but came third. Just got stuck behind traffic. Didn't really get much of a run, so definitely a forgive. I listened to a bit of a voice audio from Archie Alexander afterwards, and he's confident that he's a Saturday horse, so that's quite nice looking forward. I had Ferrari as my next best. Came second, got pipped, I think, just down the end. That was a tough watch. That was a real tough watch. That's like throwing the phone at the wall type of moment. And my best value was race 9, number 3, Berkeley Square. Thank the Lord. I think it got me out of jail.
Paid like $6, didn't it?
Paid well.
I got it
But best value.
No, I got it at $12.20.
Okay.
So the punters really slammed on it.
Yep.
And then Adam, you were best bet Ferrari.
I did throw the phone at the wall watching that one.
Yeah.
That was a tough watch.
There was a real tough watch. Still a great horse. Dirty Don loves that horse.
Yep.
And next best was So Risque.
I think I was overconfident on
Yeah.
this by a long way, but still no good.
I had in my selections actually for the weekend, and yeah, that was a tough watch as well. And best value, It's a Wild Night.
That was a disappointment for me. That was a poor run. So I was expecting a hell of a lot better, but once again, no good.
I tell you what, Lammy is looking good coming
the
into this
wipeout.
week.
I had the wipeout.
Yeah, I like it to be back.
I had. Yep.
Tell you what, all eyes on Lammy as he can hopefully get us some winners. However, we're going to look at the feature first up, and there's no Group 1 racing this weekend. However, Royal Randwick does host the Group 2 Ingham. Rail in the true position, playing a soft 5. Where are we going, Lammy?
I'm going with the last start Group 1 winner in Lockroy, Port Lockroy, I should say.
Yeah.
$9 or thereabouts.
Yep.
I think that's a pretty good price for this horse on an each-way basis. Drawn well. Tyler Schiller in the saddle. Annabelle Neesham and Rob Archibald are going quite well at the moment, so I'm happy to be with that horse on an each-way basis. Gringotts, the Danger, who I think might be featuring.
Yeah, myself and Adam, we've gone Gringotts. Boom Bet currently have Gringotts at $4.25 odds. I just think he's had some spring. He really enjoys New South Wales. Won a bunch of features up there. This campaign looks every chance. Draws 7 as well, so sort of midfield. It's not going to be too much of a
He's been getting across from wide gates anyway. He's got decent gate speed.
So no, he should be fine there. For our next set, we're going to be heading to Caulfield, where it's not the most exciting or enthralling set of racing at Caulfield this weekend. However, we punt nonetheless. Lammy, what have you got for us?
We do indeed. It might be the first Saturday meeting on the Caulfield Heath potentially.
I don't have that, but I'll trust you on that.
Yeah. So it should be a reasonably firmish deck, tight turning circuit. So I've sort of gone with horses that'll be in the first half of the field. My best bet, race 6, number 8, Miss Altair, taking on Miraval Rose, who is the favourite in this. But Miss Altair, I just think might be a little bit too quick for Miraval Rose from the good draw over 1200. One of the last 2 starts this prep, both over this trip, both by big margins after racing up on the speed. It's tougher class-wise here, but I just think a fast start could see Willow slip away from them. Miraval Rose will be back in the field. I think she might be a better horse when she gets to 1,300, 1,400. So I think at 1,200, Miss Altair is the way to go.
That's $3.05 odds with Boombet. Where's your next best?
Next best, race 4, number 6, Spirit of Camelot. Another horse looking to keep a bit of a picket fence alive. Dominant, winning her last couple over 1,400 at Morfettville Parks. Hickmott does not send them to Victoria for a haircut. He comes with purpose. I don't know what his strike rate is at the Caulfield Heath. He probably hasn't had many runners there at all. But when he brings them to Victoria, they generally run very well. She maps nicely from barrier 3. Rise to 1,500 looks perfect, 4th up. She's another one that I think it's a 2-horse race, and I'm just going with the horse at better odds.
$4.05 odds with Boombet, and your best value of the day.
Yeah, tricky race to close the program, but I thought Baldino was probably over the odds in race 10. Wasn't flash last start, but did cover additional ground. Blinkers go back on. Kieran Marr factor. Last win actually came in this grade over this distance. It was at the Caulfield outer track, but his best form compares favourably with most of his opposition here. So I think he was 18 when I did the preview. Might be still around those odds. So I think Baldino each way in the last.
I like it a lot. I'm going to be heading to Randwick, as I mentioned before, rail in the true position, track playing a soft 5. And so far for my best bet, I've gone race 7, number 3, Seeking. He's got lovely group form and 2 starts under his belt. Good to see Matty Dunn has confidence. He'll back up straight after Melbourne Cup. I think he has the most class in this race, and I'll be surprised if he does not finish on top. Next best, race 9, number 6, Moravia from the Michael Friedman stable. What's the best sort of mail you can get, boys?
Oh, not
stable mail. That's
I was
right.
going to say definitely not from the trainer, but yep.
Well, I haven't gone to the trainer. Stable mail is great mail, and this is a horse, Foreman.
Foreman. Okay.
Good mate of mine.
I was going to say, how is stable mail not the trainer? But yeah.
No, good mate of mine. Benny Duckworth is quietly confident about this horse. He's been unlucky at stakes level thus far this spring, however, has been solid throughout. 1,200 metres is his distance. He's had a win over 1,200 metres this campaign, and I'd like to see him on top.
Did you just throw Benny under the bus there? You've just shifted all accountability if it loses onto him.
Well, I don't like taking accountability, especially when mid-year reviews are coming up. So, whoever's looking at mine will go, who's Benny Duckworth? It's a terrible impression of whoever's doing it. But best value for me comes race 6, number 6, Kettle Hill. Probably a bit of a trumpet on my end, but I got on him on Oaks Day. Got a little feature on the socials as well. Probably one of the only roughies I've actually backed this year. But draws the car park. However, I've still got a lot of confidence in him, given his win on Oaks Day. His ability to weave through traffic down the straight like he did at Flemington just shows how tough and fit he is. 1,800 metres won't be an issue. As shown last up, plenty of class about him. He'll end up in the top 3 for sure. Now we are going to head to WA again. The Group 3 Gold Rush is the feature in Western Australia at Ascot. Adam will be doing our Ascot tips. Best bet comes in race 2, number 1, Final Siren. What have you got for us there? What do you like?
Yeah, I like this one. Doesn't seem to do anything but find a place. Has won a couple. Has come back strongly after a bit of a spell too. And its last 600 sectionals seem to be pretty lightning. So I'm very happy to back this one in at 340.
Beautiful stuff. Next best, race 3, number 3, $5 pop here.
Yeah, $5 on Twain's Angel. I can see this one being a bit closer than what I see in Final Siren, but Twain's Angel has been pretty solid in 2 runs back. And if you look at its last 5 runs, it doesn't look like it's exceptional. But if you look at its last 2 runs back from the spell, it's actually come up really well. So I'm expecting the 3rd run up to be exceptional.
Best value comes in race 9, $7.50 pop. Bit of a slap on the wrist here.
Yeah, this one, I'm just purely a sucker. It's a black booker of mine. Count the sessions. I've backed it quite a few times for a bit of ROI. So I'm thinking that this one might be the one that gets up at some decent odds.
Fair enough. Count the sessions in great time of year. Now we are going into silly season. However, we will digress. Yays and Neighs this week, brought to you by J-Lam.
Not Boombet, J-Lam. Yeah, that's right. Okay, we'll start with Greyhound Racing has been in the news this week, and Greyhound Racing being shut down in New Zealand is a bad sign for the sport in Oz. I want to get the boss man's opinion on this first up.
I don't think it is. I think I don't quite understand the reason New Zealand's done it. I think they've gone out on a limb here, particularly after what we saw happen in New South Wales when they did this not so long ago.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad sign for the sport in Australia. They're going to have to make some adjustments for it in Australia, and there's some good conversations happening within the Greyhound bodies at the moment to talk about straight races, etc. And we're starting to see that transition in. So I don't think it's a bad sign for Australia, but I do think it's a wrong decision by New Zealand.
Yeah, it was all done with New Zealand. It's all done on financials. But I think one of the things which was a huge argument piece in New South Wales when Mike Baird tried to come in 2016, I remember I was in year 11 at school when he tried to introduce it. And it was absolute uproar for me and my degenerate mates. You forget the human factor about it. There's thousands of jobs people lose. But in saying that, comparatively speaking, the New Zealand greyhound scene isn't as big as it is in Australia. Yeah, like, I'm not going to say greyhound racing is booming, but we've got these big Group 1 feature races like, the Phoenix coming up, the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup, which was a few weeks ago. So there is a lot more money behind Australian greyhound racing. I think, if anything, the New South Wales, when Mike Baird tried to introduce that, I think it was more started a conversational piece into sort of, righto, if there are issues within this industry, let's start to regulate. Let's start to, introduce a lot more penalties and be a bit more harsher. So maybe New Zealand should take a leaf out of that book, tighten up its regulations and stuff like that. However, if it is as much of a money burner as they suggest, at the end of the day, we're not in the greatest economic climate at the moment. I know they're suffering as well. So it's a hard one. I hate to be Switzerland, but I am a fence sitter on this.
I'm Neigh. I think similar to what Adam said. I think it's more of a wake-up call rather than a bad sign. But obviously things can change pretty quickly when politics are involved. Number 2, HKIR is the best day of racing in the world. Yay or nay?
I will say nay. I'm not doubting it's a brilliant race day. I think every single trainer and racing identity that was over there at the time, they looked like they were all having the absolute time of their life. Looked fantastic. Hospitality looked amazing. The Tagster, our mate, he got his own VIP box courtesy of the Jockey Club. Everyone seemed to get really well looked after. In saying that, have I attended better race days? Well, I haven't been to one in Hong Kong. However, I do think I have. I look at Stakes Day as being biased towards, obviously, Victoria in Australia is one of my favourite days in Australia. But the greatest race day in regards to atmosphere and having the crack is the Galway Festival in August every year over in Ireland. That's my favourite. But in saying that, there was a lot of talent over in Hong Kong. I'm going to say nay, but I think I've been to better.
You have cut up rough about this. That Tag's getting a box over there. You've been banging on about this all
No,
day.
but in fairness, he did produce a bit of good content from it. Like, it did make me chuckle. And if there's I like seeing that he got looked after. And so did Mitchell Beer as well. Everyone was so funny because I saw all these photos, everyone there in suits really well. Beery's just there with a collared shirt, pair of shorts and sneakers. And just like Alan's dad said to him in The Hangover before he died, Beery, don't change, mate. Never change.
I'm a nay on this, but gee, it's nice to have it in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I think what they've done in the last 3 years of this has been exceptional, trying to get the Australian audience involved as well. We are seeing so many of the trainers and horses and everyone heading over there now. I can't say it'll be too long before it actually probably is a real discussion of whether it is the best race day in the world. I'm interested to see the turnover from Australia as well, because I know a lot of people were sitting down Sunday afternoon, like ourselves, watching it.
Yeah, horizontal.
So credit to them. They've been able to turn it on. And whilst Australia has had a pretty good spring carnival, this was a beautiful way to kind of back it up as well.
I will say one thing. It's nice, though, because we talk about Aussies going to Royal Ascot and stuff like that, like we saw us for this year. But it's actually quite nice that it's a nice halfway meeting of European racing and Australian racing, where they can sort of compare with one another.
And you get the Japanese as well. Like
Exactly.
they make the horses and the jockeys the absolute stars of the show in Hong Kong. But yeah, I'm a nay as well. I just think the support card probably isn't as strong as Champions Day.
Yeah.
Aussie bias shining through, but it is a cracker of a day. Last one. This was XP put this one on the non-existent run sheet.
Yeah.
Racing state by state / jurisdictions. So we're talking Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, should have time off over the summer period. So not all at the same time, but staggered a little bit. Yay or nay?
Yay. You look at all the trainers, like they're all so time poor. When you think they've got a bit of time off at sales season and they've got to be up and back all around the country, also managing their small business. They live, once you become a trainer, it just consumes your whole life. Like they don't really get holidays as per. Like I think Chris Waller is getting like 6 days in New Zealand over Christmas to see his family. Obviously, he'll have people running the stable for him, but he's going to be keeping an eye the whole time. It'd be quite nice if there was just a week, whether it's after or before. I'm going to go before Christmas. The week before, we can just have no racing. Stables can just relax a bit. Obviously, staff are still going to have to be on hand to feed horses, keep them walking and stuff like that. However, I think we got to a point that's too much of an emphasis on the wagering dollar. I understand we got to pay bills over here, but to see like staff within stables to get a bit of time off and stuff like that, I think is so imperative. We always keep banging on about mental health and things like that. Well, let's start putting it into practice. And I'd like to hear what everyone else has to think. What is a good time of year to have 7 days off? I think 7 days after Christmas probably doesn't work because a lot of the picnic races, they really need those big, like with the Boxing Day and New Year's Day racing and stuff like that at Hanging Rock. They really thrive on those days. So what sort of week it is, I'd like to know what you guys like to think. But I think, there should be just a week off where stable staff can have a bit of time off.
Yeah. I'm a Neigh for the summer period, being the period they have off. But I'm a yay that they need to find some time to have a bit of a letdown. I think it's going to be winter.
Winter?
You think of the amount of races that get called off because we have to abandon them because of track conditions, etc. Crowds aren't turning out during that period of time. Turnover generally drops. I mean, outside of the Queensland Carnival, you don't see a hell of a lot running around during that period of time either. So for me, the logic would be 2-week period during winter. But my thing is country racing.
That'd be for Victoria?
Pardon?
That'd be for Victoria or?
Yeah, probably Vic in New South Wales during winter.
Okay.
But you think country racing in Victoria thrives from Boxing Day to New Year's Day. So you don't want to shut that down.
Yeah.
And for me, we've got to find a better way of managing it, but not during summer.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
I'm a yay, but it would require the states working together, which just doesn't happen. So it'd be nice in theory, but difficult in practice.
Like you're thinking there, Lamby. Thank you for joining us. That's all we've got time for on Hold Tickets, as per usual, brought to you by Boombet. Great fixed odds, more value, and more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. Of course, go to Punters for all written previews. Check us out on all social media platforms. Thank you to G Money behind the screen. Adam, thanks for filling in. And Lamby, good to see you back, mate.
Good to be back. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.